Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Kesgrave Panthers Podcast. Today, our guest is current Poole Comets racer Feroze Langoo. How are you feeling today, Feroze?
I'm good, lads. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, I'm good.
Thanks.
Yeah, so
Good.
let's start off normally. How did you get into Cycle Speedway?
I got into Cycle Speedway, I think I was 8 years old, and I used to ride BMX/scooter, and there's a little skate park next to the pool, and me and my dad were like, oh, what's this? We went to have a look. There was a British Youth and Junior League going on there at pool. So me and my dad asked Neil Garnett, who was running it, how can I do this? We paid the £4 entry, got into there. I did my first race, and then I just started fell in love with it. And it's kind of one of those sports like it's hard to give up. So that was my first Cycle Speedway race, I'd say.
So you started riding at Poole when you were 8, did you say?
Yes.
So have you ridden there for the entirety of your career as a speedway rider?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. So do you enjoy that track more than others, or do you have a track that you say would be your favorite?
I'd say I enjoy Poole most because obviously it's my home track, so I practice it day in, day out, twice a week all the time. But if there was a track apart from Poole I'd have to prefer, I'd probably say Wednesday, because it's quite a large track, and I'm one of those riders who does small tracks. I'm not really a gator. I prefer longer tracks, so it's easy for me.
So then there any of these small tracks specifically that you dislike, or is it just small tracks in general?
Mainly East Newport, because coming out the corner, it's straight away out the corner, in the corner. So I'm not really used to that.
Yeah, I don't think many people like East Newport, to be honest. It's a bit of a weird one.
Yeah.
So yeah, so what do you really enjoy most about Cycle Speedway?
I enjoy the fun of it, going out there, enjoying it. But also when you win a race, it's you always want to celebrate, oh, thank God, get in, I've won a race. But when there's those times when you lose a race, oh, damn it, it's a bit like that. But I do enjoy it for how much fun it can be.
So, what do you ride for then? What are your aims?
Obviously, most people, to become world champion, British champion, all of that. But the main aim is enjoy it while you can before you get quite old, and you never know, something could happen and you have to give up.
Yeah, that's a fair point. So who are your idols in the sport, or out of the sport maybe, and who do you look up to or aspire to be, if you know what I mean?
That's a good question. I'd have to say, purely because he's one of the main reasons how I got into Speedway, became the rider who I am, managed to get into not really a full first team rider, but managed to get into first team matches. I'd probably say Feroze Langoo.
Yeah.
Because
are there
how
any?
Much is sorry.
Carry on.
No, it's because of how much he's helped me produce as a rider since I was 8 up to 16. Yeah, I've been a massive fan of him.
So you say that you're a first team rider. Would you say, do you have any favourite team riding partners in that?
Yeah, I'd probably say I've really rode with all of them, but the ones I've ridden with, I would say there's Nathan Golden and there's Matt Milden, because on a gate, Nathan will be able to gate a rider and hold them out for you. But when there's rides with Matt Milden, if I'm leading the race and he's down in there, especially going around outside people, he can be confident. So I could hold up a rider and he'd manage to get round, and then we just block him off each time. So he's quite a good team rider to be with.
So would you say you maybe try and replicate their styles or other people's styles, or would you say you have your own style of riding?
I do kind of have my own style of riding, but there are some races where I watch where I can then adapt it into my style. So for example, I know Zach Payne, when he gets off the gate, he doesn't always, if he's on gate 4, he doesn't always go round the bend. He sometimes holds off from there. When I was younger, about 11 or 12, no matter what gate was on, if I was really on gate 4, I'd still for some reason go into the corner and wait for a crash, and then just get out, taken out wide. But then sometimes when there's crashes, I manage to just slip underneath and I'm in the lead. So I take style from him, for example.
So with riding for the first team again, would you say that you enjoy that sort of thing, riding with a team, or would you prefer the individual events?
That's quite tough. I would say I prefer individuals because you're just focusing on yourself and not anyone else behind you or in front of you.
Yeah. So, got a great question here. Is there anything in the sport that annoys you or you would change, apart from Terry Ashford pronouncing your name wrong, Feroze Langoo?
That's fair. I'd say the most annoying is Terry Ashford pronouncing my name wrong. Feroze Langoo. Let's just get out of there. But no, there's not really anything that hates me. But actually, no, there is. There's one thing, and that's like rivalry within a team. Because there are sometimes events, I can't remember whatever it was, that was some rivalry between me and another partner in team riding. And that's kind of like caused it on and off track. So that's the one thing I hate. But the main thing is Terry Ashford saying my name wrong.
So with that as well, like things you don't like about the sport, are there anything like any rules that you think should be changed or like brought in?
I can't really think of any rules, but I've heard this from one of my like coaches at the club, Dave Shong, where he says that from next year, what he's going to try to do for the youth league is if you get maximum points around 4 straight fours for the first 4, you should just get gate 1 in the A final. That's one of the rules I think I'd change, because there are events where riders who have maximum will be gate 4 and they lose the A final, which I think think of as a bit unfair. So that's, I think, a rule I'd change.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Like, yeah, that is annoying, because like if I'll get a maximum, I'll get gate 4, and then like Torsten or Charlie, someone will get gate 1, and it's just kind of
quite hard. Yeah,
a bit annoying. Yeah. So like, what advice would you say you would give to like younger riders if they wanted to improve within the sport?
Oh, that's quite good. I would say just do what you do and just do it. Like, just improve how you can, listen to advice that others give you, and just enjoy it while you can. That's just the main piece.
So what advice have others given you, or what do you think the best piece of advice you've been given is?
The best piece of advice I was given was don't look behind, just drive out in front.
Yeah.
And that was my rider. I think he doesn't ride anymore for our club. I can't remember his name, but he used to ride in 2016, but then he left.
Yeah. So, what is like the biggest event you've ridden at in your career? Like what event did you enjoy riding at the most?
I think the under 14s British Club Championship was 2018, because that was like the main first event that I was picked for, like instead of youth junior leagues where everyone can go. That was the first one that I was picked for as from the club, which was quite nice because we obviously won. That was a nice feeling that we won it. That was one of my first like wins for the team. And also because I thought I did quite well in it, but there were times where some riders would just go into me like I'd never had before. So that was quite scary at the same time. But yeah, that was my most memorable, I'd say.
So what would you say is your biggest achievement then?
Biggest achievement? Oh, that's tough. I'd say that event as well, because obviously it wasn't just me, but like every other rider also did it. But I think that it was a big achievement at the British Club Championships, because I thought like everyone all participated really well, but I thought I did quite well as well, because there were some races that we had strong riders taken out and I had to replace them, but obviously getting the wins from the races because of putting out and letting the riders crash and me managed to get underneath.
Yeah. So, what did it feel like riding in, I don't know what they call it anymore, the Knockout Cup, I think it is. What did it feel riding in that at Blakenham? Like, how did you feel?
Oh yeah, that event. That was a fantastic feeling for me, because obviously me and Kenzie Bennett, we're still youngsters. We're still 14 and 16, and we're like 2 riders who managed to get into like a Poole senior team, which is like, Poole is a big club and have won loads of trophies. And to be in the senior team at like young ages, I thought that was a real privilege. So yeah, it was good.
So do you enjoy also riding? Because Poole, who did you have in? You were against was it Blakenham in your? And then you also rode Horsworth as well in the final, didn't you? So
yeah.
Did you enjoy riding against those those senior riders, some of those who like made the final?
Yes. Oh, Horsworth, obviously I didn't ride for good reason. We made it to the final. We wanted to win, but Great Blakenham, strong riders there. I thought it was good. Me getting a third against some riders, third and second in against riders that were quite strong, like Toby Mullen, he was quite a strong rider to go against, and Ethan Mitchell, he was quite good as well. But yeah, I thought it was quite nice, quite good feeling.
Yeah, so like a few years ago, did you ever think you would be in that like position riding for the Poole senior team? And I think it's the Knockout Cup. I have no idea, but yeah.
Well, getting the Poole senior team, I thought yes, because there's some riders who are going to drop out, but getting into like a Knockout Cup against teams like Birmingham, Horsepath, who are like third in Europe, and Great Blakenham, Ipswich. Obviously, Kesgrave didn't because they just didn't have a team. But yeah, I didn't think I would ever get into an event like this, but getting the senior team, I did hope so.
So also, like when you started, when you were 8, what do you think you were going to get out of the sport?
When I was 8, I used to just think, before I like started joining Poole at like trainings, I thought, oh, this is just a bit of fun. One event won't do any harm. Let's just go home, forget about it. But as soon as I got to the grid, tapes went up, instantly fell in love with the sport. But then I thought, oh, this is going to be quite good. Let's join the team, see how far I can get. If I can do really well, I can do really well.
Yeah. So when do you think like your focus turned so you wanted to do well and not just for fun, really?
That was probably 2017 at my first nationals at East Park, where I thought, oh, I've done regionals. Let's see if I can do a nationals. Obviously, I managed to. Thought I did quite well for like a first like actual England Britain sport. This is quite good for me. Let's see how far I can get. Just keep practicing. Soon enough, I start doing senior training. I think it was 2019, 2021 this year. And yeah, getting senior team and hoping to do really well.
What would you say? So what do you think? Like what sort of stuff do you do like off track, like in the pits to keep you relaxed during a meeting?
I'd probably just, if it's at Poole because of the canteen we get, go and buy some chips. have one or two, get back on the track, have another 2 at the end of the race, stuff them in my face.
It's like me with Mike Grimes at East Newport. Feeding him after I don't know where he's going to race, but I promise him a chip.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so at Poole, I suppose like you're quite lucky with all the facilities you have. It's a very I've been there once and it was a very nicely run club. So like, and the track, you said it's your favorite track, but if you had to change one thing about that track, what would you change?
I'd probably say, I don't know. I think not the first 2 corners, but the last 2 corners, because we've got a massive ditch if you go really tight, and if you get into the ditch, you just go into the fence. So hopefully we can actually get that filled up. So it's just gravel. So if you can go really tightly and just don't kill yourself, basically. That's the one thing and the one thing only.
Yeah.
So with the tracks, because our track's kind of a bit bumpy. Our tracks ain't getting quite, it isn't great at the moment. Would you say that you prefer a track to be like perfect and all smooth and like no ruts or anything? Or do you not mind having all the...
I wouldn't mind, but obviously everyone wants a smooth track, so it's nice and easy to ride. But I wouldn't mind a bit of bumpy because I'm used to it, especially because I do a lot of mountain biking. I'm used to like having like a rough terrain, but for other riders, they probably think, oh, it's hard, so they might go slower, which gives me a chance of winning.
So, yeah. So for next season, what would you say is like your main goal, really?
Oh, okay. So I'm really hopefully instead of last year, hopefully it gives me a chance at least get top 5 in the British Championships. That's how, because this year I was like quite low down, like 10th or 11th, maybe 12th. But hopefully I can get top 5 this year, which is quite a good achievement.
So do you think you could do like any more training to try and get that top 5 next year?
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
Yeah. Do you reckon it'll be like, so are you going to drill yourself for gating, or is that more of a strong point for you? Or are you going to try and practice like all the concepts in your training session?
My main concept is my main concept is cornering and straights, but more straight because I'm good at straight line speed, but cornering, that's one thing. And gating, I need to especially work on my gating because I need to get used to having my pedals a bit higher because I used to have them a bit lower down. So I need to get used to having that like actual straight line instead of like just having the curve down. And cornering, I'm getting help with cornering, especially from riders like Fraser and Kenzie, who are quite good corners, managed to take tight lines. I'm asking them for help, but straight line speed is okay for me, and cornering and gating is my next training for next year.
So do you actually enjoy the things that you wouldn't say you were as good at? Do you actually enjoy working on those things and seeing the improvement?
Yeah, I do, because I think it's a really good way to help me progress in the sport, help youngsters as well, because they learn, and then when they get older, they can then help others. Because if I learn, I can then help the younger ones who can then pass it all down. So it makes it better for everyone.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's really nice to hear. But I think we've got through quite a good bit tonight. Yeah, that was good fun. So yeah, thank you for talking to us about all your experiences and what you wish to do in the future, really. So yeah, thanks for coming on.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, and we will see everybody next time. Goodbye.